All right. Let's make sure we have sound. Let's make sure we have sound. Just sound check. And we do. Okay. So now we will get this going over here. And then we will make sure we have sound over here. Wait for people to get on and all that good stuff. I'm like, are things freezing up? Let's make sure we have sound because that's the worst. Like, we had our family reunion this past weekend, and I took my little mics, and it was impromptu. And so I was talking to people, and later found out some of the times they had turned the mic off. So we got some really good, clear, crisp video of some folks, but unfortunately, we don't have their audio. But we can still use the videos later if we want to. So okay, so we have sound. We have sound that makes me happy. We have sound in all of the places. Come on in. Let me know where you are watching from. My name is Tamara Hamilton. I blog about the business of you. If you don't know what that means, it means each and every one of us. I'm not in the straw man theory or any of that stuff. But when I say each, thank you for the love. When I say each and every one of us is a business, a product, we absolutely are. Thank you so much for the love. Um, because we live in an age where we can do exactly what I'm doing right now. You can take your phone, which I have going. You can take your laptop, which I also have going. And on my laptop, I am streaming to 3 different places. Okay. And then on my phone, I am streaming strictly to TikTok. However, I will be able to use that recording in as many ways as I want because I believe in owning my masters. Okay. And so we live in an age where you can just push the go live button. You don't even need a microphone. You don't even need the fancy lighting and all that I have. You can use natural lighting and you can go live and you can share your gifts, your talents, your expertise, your knowledge, your experience with the world. And if you do that enough, the right people will find you and you will begin building your own audience that you can then monetize. Okay. And so that is why I say I blog about the business of you, because that is what I feel my mission in life is, to spread the news to as many people as possible that this is an option for you, regardless of your education level, regardless of all the crazy reasons why you're probably telling yourself that you can't or it won't work. Those are probably and usually the exact reasons why it will work and why it can work for you. Okay. So I want you to understand that no matter your background, there are guys that I see on TikTok and I throw them love and gifts every time I do, that are basically learning how to read. They're functionally illiterate and they are willing to be vulnerable and push the record button, and they go live as they are practicing reading and they are building massive audiences doing it. I always love to give the example of the grandma and the aunties around Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, them in the kitchen cleaning chitlins. And they just turn the camera on and they teach people how they clean their chitlins and talk about whatever else it is that they want. And I've seen the abuelitas doing the same thing, not with chitlins, but with chicharrones and whatever else they are making in their kitchen, right? So you are your very own cable network, whether it's news or whatever it is that you want your network to be about. It is about you, your life, your experiences, your knowledge, and your expertise. And the way that I teach it to people is that you do not have to learn anything new. You can take what it is that you already know. Now, there is a lot of talk, including from me, about how there is a skills deficit. That is as it pertains to AI in the corporate workforce. However, for content creation, for monetizing and productizing your life, you can take whatever skills you already know. You can take whatever skills you already excel at. You can take whatever skills, knowledge, expertise, documentation that you have, and you can monetize it. You can build an audience with that, because trust me, there is someone out there looking for the information, looking for the experience, looking for the skills that you have. Did you know that Gen Z is severely deficient in a lot of life skills? And I'm talking things like how to sew a button on, right? Many of them, and I'm not saying this to stereotype or being mean. Again, I'm not saying it is unilateral and all encompassing that it's every last single Gen Z, but I'll give you an example. Here in my building, we've had some turnover in the last few months. And I always know when someone has either moved in or moved out because the dumpster ends up overflowing. So I just reached out to property management and said, hey, I'm not complaining. I'm going to bring you a solution. The thing is overflowing again, and I really think it just boils down to Gen Z hasn't been taught to break their boxes down from Amazon and all the places for the new things they're getting for their apartment. And they said bet, and they sent out an email, and now the dumpster is no longer overflowing. So it's just little things like that, because Gen Z has been one of the most closely held generations ever in history, and to the degree that some of them have been helicoptered. So they just really don't know a lot of things. Now, they won't necessarily admit that, especially when it comes to a lot of stuff, but they don't necessarily know that. And if they do, they want to learn it on their own time, space, and place. And so you bringing it to the internet, you can actually, I've been saying this for over a year, for a really long time. I already knew it, but then there came out data that backed me up on it, and I remember making content about it. But you can really profit from creating content aimed at Gen Z and teaching them basic life skills: how to sew a button on, how to change a flat tire, how to check the oil in their car. Do people even still do that? But that kind of stuff, right? um Things around the house, as we move into what people are predicting to be more inflationary and expensive times to live. People might start patching up their jeans again. How to put a patch on your jeans. Those are things I grew up seeing my aunties do. So if I had to do it, I could do it. And if I ran into trouble, where I would go? I would go to TikTok. I would go to YouTube, right? Last week for our family reunion, I committed to making pinwheels for our meet and greet on Thursday. Well, it'd been a while since I made pinwheels, and I come from a family that really strives on excellence. So I wanted to make sure my stuff was right. So I went to TikTok and I put in, and watched people make pinwheels, because I was a little concerned about rolling them up and keeping them rolled up and stayed up, staying rolled up. So, those are things people are looking at search, and they're searching differently than they have in the past. Okay. So people are using social media more for search. They're using ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and AI for search, right? So there is so much opportunity for you to productize and monetize your life, right? Now, one of the big things that has come out in the last week is the big, beautiful, the big ominous, I'm going to say that, the big ominous, beautiful bill has passed, right? And I think it went to Homeboy's desk, and he might have even already signed it. And if he hasn't, he will be soon. Okay. And I say ominous because, there's been a lot of fear around two things in particular: cutting SNAP benefits and cutting Medicaid, because it pretty much impacts us all, even if we don't receive those things, because many elderly people do. Many of our parents, grandparents, and so on and so forth do. And our kids may go to school, our grandkids may go to school with people who receive these benefits, or we may know someone, and some might actually be receiving these benefits, right? And so there's been a lot of fear around that, because a lot of us really care about our fellow humankind, and so these types of things we worry about. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be concerned about that. I personally just think we should be putting ourselves in a better position to be able to help those people as much as we can. And that goes back to productizing and monetizing your life. So if you have a full time job, you should definitely be getting familiar with the big, beautiful bill. Okay. And I have put together a prompt that will help you interpret the big, beautiful bill and personalize it and customize it to you and your situation. Okay. So I'm going to read it to you and I'm going to tell you where you can get it. Okay. So this is a deep research prompt for Chat GPT. And that means you're going to want to have the $20 version of Chat GPT and actually say that you want it to do click the little thing for deep research. Okay. So here is what the prompt says. I'm going to tell you right now, there are going to be some things that you are going to need to fill in. Okay. So I want a personalized breakdown of how the OB3 bill, the one big, beautiful bill, will impact my income streams, business opportunities, and long-term strategy. You can replace that and say whatever you're concerned about. Okay. Here's what you need to know about me. I am a blank, right? Now it gives you some suggestions. You don't have to be one of those, right? So the suggestions are coach, creator, strategist, or service provider, but you can say whatever you want it, whatever you are. I help who it is that you help. I am currently your situation or season in business. So I've been in business for 10 years. I'm seasoned. I'm just starting out. Analyze the one big beautiful bill through this lens. One, what changes in OB3 create new business or offer opportunities? What problems or fears show up in my audience that I can address? What will matter most by 2030 that I need to start building toward now? What narratives are being amplified and how can I turn those into content, offers, and authority? Keep the response grounded, relevant, and strategic. Focus on what creates clarity and momentum, right? Now, I'm going to tell you that I actually already ran this prompt for myself and my business. And after I did, number one, I felt better. I felt better about the future because here's the difference between me and some of the other people. I'm not going to say a lot, but some of the other people that are online, right? Number one, I'm not going to fear monger, right? I know how. I'm very skilled at creating leverage, creating urgency without manipulation, without gross bro marketing tactics from my feminine energy, let's just say. Okay. You know, I'm not big on that feminine masculine talk, but I know how to do that without getting scammy and gross. Right. And so it's important that we get to a space. I hate to use the word acceptance, but it's the best word because when we talk about change and even grief, there are stages, right? And there are people who get in denial, some get stuck there, some are in bargaining. You know, there's various stages. I can't even name them all right now because I got this fan way too close blowing in my face. But acceptance is one of the faster you can get to acceptance in a lot of cases the better for you, but sometimes you might get to acceptance and you might go back to denial or negotiating, and that's typically normal, right? So here's the thing: if you're going to make it out of this and you want to make it out of this alive, you want to put your family and yourself in the best position, you want to position and even protect yourself, you need to know the bill. You need to know the bill for yourself. Yesterday, when I posted, I talked about how, when I was in corporate and training and developing people, I taught this concept that the person who knows the compensation plan will make some money. They will do all right. But the person who understands the compensation plan, they will know and function at a much higher level. And therefore, the person that understands the compensation plan will make the most money, right? And this isn't all about making the most money, But I think what it is about is it is taking people from merely surviving, just barely surviving, to being able to thrive no matter what, right? Because whatever is happening in the world, that's what we need to be able to do. We need to be able to figure out, in the vernacular, we need to be able to get in where we fit in and make that work for us. Many of us are alive and here to this day because someone in our line of ancestry figured out where they got in and they fit in and they made it work, which created the circumstance and environment for us to eventually be here. Now, we're all at various stages. Some are still closer to surviving, others are doing a lot, more thriving. But it doesn't matter where you are right now. What matters is where do you want to be in 2030, right? I cannot tell you how many times in the last week I have said 2026 because my mind is already in 2026. The first half of 2025 is gone. It is now about building momentum and how things are going to flow out and play out in 2026, okay? And let me tell you, between now and 2030, things are going to move faster than the speed of light because of AI. So it's really important that you develop your vision and you look for the opportunities and at least get yourself aligned so that the right opportunities find you for you to be able to maximize the opportunities that are going to come, because nothing is pure destruction. Just like every time something is done good socially, it does create some negatives. I'm always going to keep it real. Whenever there is good social policy created, there are negatives that come from that. I would be lying. I would be negligible to leave that out of the conversation. But likewise, even when there is a big, ominous bill that we all have concerns about, there are some good things in there. And from what I've seen and some of the things that I heard and read in the bill and researched and studied, it is a very small business friendly piece of legislation. I'm gonna just keep it real with you, right? And I've always come from the school of thought that even when you have a corporate job, a traditional job, you want to have some sort of business, some sort of side hustle, and so on and so forth, right? You want to have multiple streams of income, because here is what I learned over 25 years ago, and that is the W 4 employee, the W 4 form that you fill out, or is it W 2? It's W 2 or W 4 that you fill out, only gets a very limited number of tax breaks. But businesses, on the other hand, get a lot more tax breaks, right? And I am not a tax professional. I am not giving tax advice. I'm actually right now fighting the urge to tell some pieces of my own history and things that I've experienced, but I'm just going to leave it go because I'm not a tax professional, right? That's why it's important for you to move like the wealthy do. And I'm going to tell you, many of them actually aren't even reacting to this. They're responding to it because they've actually been lobbying for it. Okay. And even if they were not, what they are doing right now is they are waiting for word from their financial advisors, from their tax advisors, on the moves that they should be making for the rest of this year, for 2026, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And that's some of the secret. That's some of how they do things differently than we do, right? And so, you gotta chew the meat and spit the bones out. You gotta go through the bill with that mentality. What is in here for me? Where is the opportunity? That is capitalism. Let's be real. You go through there and figure out what your opportunities are. And if you are struggling with that, you can book time with me. It ain't free, but you can book time with me and I can help you figure it out. One of the things you may need to do is you may need to take like a talent assessment, right? Where are your strengths? What are your skills in order for you to be able to know what to monetize? If you don't want to do that, what brings you joy? What lights your face up when you do it? What if money were not an issue, what is it that you would do that you already do? Okay, because some of y'all hear that and y'all want to go run for things that you got to learn and you know nothing about. You're going to have a hard time monetizing that. Does it work for some people? Yes, but I'm of the mindset of creating the funds to do that passion project. And how you create the funds to do that is through your existing skill set, monetization, knowledge, and so forth. So okay, so here I've been talking about productizing and monetizing. So let's give some examples, right? So there are people on TikTok and Facebook Reels that you will see who every day or so many times a week they are posting themselves making their child or their spouse's lunch for work or for school, right? If you, whatever it is that you do better than anyone else, that you do differently. I'll give you another example. Okay. So, a piece of content I put out over the weekend was a quick ASMR video of me making taco salad for the family reunion on Friday. What makes my recipe different from others? And it's real easy and simple. I didn't put tomatoes in there because I don't like tomatoes. And the old me used to, what, when I was making stuff for big groups and parties and that, I would still put the tomatoes in there. But the new me is like, I don't like tomatoes. And you know what? I know if I don't like tomatoes, there are a lot of other people, especially like in my dad's family, who also don't eat tomatoes. Number one, for a lot of us, it tears our skin up. So I made mine without tomatoes. I made mine without tomatoes. And then I made sure to put in the caption that it was without tomatoes. Why? So that it would attract people who, like me, don't like tomatoes. Right? If I wanted to, I could go and create an entire YouTube channel, an entire TikTok, ebooks, whatever I wanted of recipes with no tomatoes. Now with taco salad, I just didn't add them, right? You could put them on the side, you could do whatever. You could replace them, right? I've had that discussion with a lot of people about different recipes. Like there's a 7-layer salad, and I went to ChatGPT and said, "Give me things to make the seventh layer, but not tomatoes." Like, and it was like uh, avocados, right? So you can. That is an example of, as I always say, you are the brand, you are the niche, you are the content, right? If you don't like tomatoes, that's the content that you create, right? I was making the salad anyway, so I just put up my little tripod and put my phone on there, turned the flash on, used my mic for the ASMR part of it, and boom, I got content, and the content is done really well, right? So you are the brand, you are the content, you are the algorithm, and you are the niche. It's as simple as that. What is it that you do and you do differently, right? So when it comes to the big, beautiful bill and that prompt, which I'll go through again in a second, and I will also drop the link over here with in the comments once the video is over, and on the TikTok you can actually DM me and I will give you the information because I forgot and I didn't put it on my link and my bio, right? So I'll read the prompt one more time, okay? And remember, some of these things you are going to have to fill in, right? And if you don't have a business, maybe just put in information for what you would like to do, or just tell it you'd like to. You can modify this, right? I want a personalized breakdown of how the OB3 bill, one big beautiful bill, will impact my income streams, business opportunities, and long term strategy. Here's what you need to know about me. I am a blank. It does give you some suggestions, but you can say whatever you want. I am a coach. I am a creator. I am a strategist or a service provider. I am a bricklayer. Okay, with whatever it is that you are. I am a hairstylist. I help. What is your niche? Even hairstylists typically have niches. You might not realize it, you might not have intended to, but at some point you end up with a niche. If you've been in business long enough and based on your referrals, you will have a niche, right? I am currently, what is your situation? I am currently working full time and building a real estate business on the side. I am a 10-year digital marketing, I am 10-year seasoned business, digital marketing. I am just now starting out. I am in the thought, I'm in the thought concept phase, right? Analyze OB3 through this lens. What changes in OB3 create new business or offer opportunities? What problems or fears will show up in my audience that I can address? What will matter most by 2030 that I need to start building toward now? What narratives are being amplified, and how can I turn those into content, offers, or authority? Keep the response grounded, because some of y'all coaches are very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. They're very interesting. They tell you to behave one way, but they are very reactive, highly emotional, at times highly masculine, because the whole pump out more content is a very masculine. Hypercapitalism, very masculine, right? You got to work on the 4th of July. You got to, not take time off to be with your family. If what you're building does not allow you to take one day off to be with your family, you are doing it wrong. One day should not make or break or kill your business. It absolutely should not, right? And so that's what I mean when I talk about scarcity and manipulation and how you got to be careful, okay? So keep the response grounded, relevant, and strategic. Focus on what creates clarity and momentum, okay? Hey, I'm doing great, Katia girl. How you doing? Facts. She says, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Put that up on the screen. Okay. So if you are on the book, check out my girl Katia. Her and her wife Stephanie are some great entrepreneurs to follow. Very positive, very uplifting messages, and they put out some great products. Also, I've worked with them several times throughout the years, and they are awesome people to work with. Doing wonderful. That trip to Greece looked so fantastic. Okay. So if you run the prompt and you kind of get stuck, oh, the ginger is really working in my drink. Oof. It tastes the ginger. I love it. If you run the prompt and you really want to develop a strategic plan, I actually recommend working with someone like myself or whomever you think is best for you. I wouldn't, as a straight beginner, someone who is struggling, just rely strictly on Chat GPT, right? Most people are still going to need some human interaction, need some actual human 30 plus years of experience in strategy and execution and wins, right? That's one of the things that I know I need to do more of, is talk a lot more about my wins and successes. For example, Theta, who has booked a VIP session for August, she was in my inbox this morning thanking me for the tip I posted on FB last week or the week before about cleaning off the lens on your phone or your laptop. And that goes for front and back on your phone, and all of them, before you go live or take that selfie or record that video. I see a lot of really smudgy videos because your fingerprints are all over your phone. In fact, as a skincare enthusiast, you need to be cleaning and disinfecting your phone regularly and take it out of the case and clean it in its entirety, especially if you are getting a lot of breakouts, hormonal or otherwise. You don't need that extra bacteria because your phones are actually more disgusting than a toilet seat. Namely because the toilet seat hopefully gets cleaned more than your phone. In some houses, I don't know, because I see some crazy things on the internet that I hope are just really just to make the video go viral. Like, you know, a toilet stick or something like that. Like that. Yes, crazy stuff. And one towel, like reusable towels that people are using for a family of 8, like real crazy stuff, right? So that might be why the toilet seat, may actually be dirtier than your phone. You never know. But over here, cleanliness is next to godliness is where I was raised. So like if you ever watch me like doing cooking videos live, I probably will get on your nerves because I'm actually kind of a little OCD about stuff. So just saying, right? So you want to clean your phone anyway. From a skincare perspective, Katia is cracking up, and Greece was amazing. It looked like it was. But you also want to clean your lens because I remember years ago, I had a killer video, but I had to re-record it because there was a big fingerprint. You could see the fingerprint on the recording, right? And I usually am really good about making sure I clean my screen. In fact, there are live videos where I will stop because I'm like, oh, this is blurry. And I usually have like a little towel or something, or I will take the sleeve of my shirt and clean the screen, the where the little camera is on my laptop, right? And here, I'm gonna do this. See how you can, it's smudged now, right? Because I just put my finger over it. And now see how much clearer that looks? Makes a big, big difference, right? When you work with me, I actually tell you what settings. A lot of y'all, somebody saw a video of mine and they were like, oh my God, your phone, it looks like you used a camera. I'm like, I know. Because I went and I found out what the best settings were for my camera. And I updated the settings on my camera a really long time ago. And I always try to record in HD or as close to HD as possible. Now we're moving into content creator tips. Okay. So I was talking to my good friend Tasha yesterday. She's picking up her content creation game again. And I told her some tools. I actually decided this week I'm going to do a video where I just walk you through all of the tools that I use, and gave her, a list of the tools and, things like mics and lights and things like that I use. And I forgot where this is going. I hate when that happens. But I'm going to go soon because the fan is making me nasally. So, but anyway, we were having this conversation about the different tools in that. And, I told her, like, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure you buy 2 of everything. That way, if something breaks, your production isn't stopped. The show doesn't end. You can still keep creating your content, right? Another tip I've given out recently is to just record. If you don't know what to record, just record you doing what you do. Record yourself doing one activity every day, whether it is for a minute or 2 minutes. Just record yourself doing something. It could be reading a book, it could be taking a walk, it could be washing dishes, it could be cleaning a mirror, opening and closing the blinds every morning, making your coffee. Take 1 minute out of your day every day and just record 1 minute, right? Because here's some tea. When it comes to short form video, especially on the Clock app, between 5.1 and 7 seconds is the sweet spot that will get you watch time, and watch time is what will make your video go further. So if you record 1 minute, how many 5-second clips do you have? Minimum, right? 60 seconds. That's 12 videos, 12 different unique videos that you can make from that one video. And it's actually more than that because you can start it and stop it at so many different points for 5.1 seconds up to the 1 minute. So at minimum, you can make 12 unique videos. It's probably more than that, probably more like 244, because 12 times 12 is 244, I believe. Right? I used to be the human calculator. I no longer am. I'm menopausal. So Not that you care, but you might, because you may be menopausal too. It's actually the fifth and silent M. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to go. Okay, so if you want that prompt for the one big beautiful bill, you can reach out to me. I will actually be putting it in the comments. Actually, why don't I do that now? I will add it to the comments right now for the one big beautiful bill. It is, I got my little desk up high. It's a very easy, um, it's a very easy, there we go. OB3. There is the link. I just put it in there. Okay. Oh, it only went on YouTube though. Oh, it's on Facebook too. Okay. So that there is the LINK. It is Tamara Hamilton blank com / OB3. Okay. And that is where you can get the prompt. I didn't gate it. I just decided I didn't want to gate it. Meaning I didn't feel like I needed to collect your information in order to give it to you. This one is just coming straight from me to you because I care. And I don't want to see y'all being freaked out about this. I also don't want to see you being taken advantage of and manipulated. Okay. So I am going to go. I may come back live again later, but I did want to get back to going live regularly and consistently. And so I made sure that we did today. And I personally think it was good stuff, but that's just me. I'm biased. So anyway, thanks for being here. If you are not following or subscribed, please make sure that you do. And y'all remind me to do that earlier in the video next time. But I will chat with you later. Bye-bye.